To corrupt railroad barons, Jesse James and Cole Younger are meddlers, troublemakers, ingrates, and candidates for rope neckties. That's hanging for you guys that aren't fluent in country. To the downtrodden folks in and around Liberty, Missouri, there's something far different. They're heroes. Jesse Cole and the Rough and Ready gang ride to rescue farmers terrorized by railroad's land grab scheme and American Outlaws. A Dust and Thunder update on a Western lore starring Colin Farrell, the great man.
Penguin himself.
The Penguin himself, that's right. As charismatic Jesse James, Scott Conn from Varsity Blues and now Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
As the fiery Cole Younger and Allie Larder from Final Destination. Gorgeous girl that she is. As Jesse's gutsy wife, well, that's a spoiler, eventual wife, I should say, Z. One of the lines is quoted here, it's, "If I were to design the perfect outlaw band." That would be Detective Alan Pinkerton, played by Timothy Dalton. "This gang is what I would create." He may not have created it, but he's sure got his hands full dealing with it.
94 minutes in color, PG-13, American Outlaws from 2001.
I grew up on watching like westerns with my dad and my granddad because they were huge fans of like
John Wayne.
Duke. I kept coming with the Duke.
Eastwood, maybe.
Yeah, the Duke. That's what I kept
westerns.
coming up with. Yeah. And so I watched a ton of those, and this was like one of the first ones that came out that really appealed to me. It was for a younger crowd for sure, but I loved Colin Farrell in SWAT.
Oh yeah.
And so when
that was from 2004-ish.
It's around the same era. Yeah. Like he's starting to kind of pick up steam here.
Daredevil probably came out around then too. He's Bullseye.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact timeline, which one came before the other. But I knew, like I said, I knew him from SWAT, and I knew him from Daredevil. So when I saw that he was in a Western, he was playing Jesse James, my favorite, my favorite American outlaw, I had to watch it. And I was not disappointed.
How old were you when you watched it?
Oh, first time?
Yeah.
Teenager, so I want to say 17, 18 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
This is like almost a 20-year-old movie.
You're right, yeah.
So...
Over 20 years now.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. 2023?
Yeah, God.
22 years now?
Yeah.
American Outlaws?
I mean, we've been friends for 20 years, so that's the crazy part. God. Okay. Anyway, it's very fun. It's got a great sense of humor to it.
Great. I mean, what really surprised me, and this is my first watching, the ensemble cast. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah, she steals anything.
Was she even mentioned on here? She wasn't mentioned on here, but yeah, she.
Kathy Bates steals anything she's in. Even like the peripheral characters, like in the gang itself, like the guy who plays Clell Miller. I couldn't tell you the character name, the actor name right off the top of my head, but the guy who plays Clell is actually from the Mighty Ducks franchise. The cowboy from that, the Dwayne Robertson from the Mighty Ducks.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was weird seeing like that, and then
there's that guy from Lost.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then you've got the kid from The Patriot, the one who gets killed in the very beginning, Heath Ledger's younger brother.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have James Bond, one of the James Bonds, so Timothy Dalton.
I didn't know he was a
He was a Bond, yeah.
I had no idea.
Really?
That makes so much sense why he's so cool now.
Yeah, he was in 2 Bonds. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, like License to Kill and another one I can't remember, but yeah.
Really?
Sorry, you Bond fans out there.
Oh my God.
Hey.
I'm such.
That's what the show's all about.
That's what I mean. I grew up on Brosnan and then Daniel Craig and then we got.
Yeah, he was before Bronson.
Yeah.
Brosnan. Yeah.
So he was the one before Bronson.
Yeah.
The first Bond movie I ever saw was GoldenEye. So like, I have to
Makes sense.
That's why I.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was really popular as Bond, but.
That's crazy, man. I'll have to go watch those now.
Yeah.
Another great reason for the show.
Stacked cast.
100%.
I'm going into it like, okay, this is going to be cool.
This is Zero. He's going to come in and out of attention-seeking mode, so don't mind him.
He loves physical media.
Yes. He loves physical media so much he loves to sleep on top of it. And recording equipment, so if there's technical difficulties, you can blame cats. But yeah, going directly into the movie, like I said, the sense of humor is there from like the first scene, where Khan and Frank James are sitting behind the thing, and they're trying to beat the Gatling gun, and
trying to strategize.
Yeah, and Colin Farrell just starts smiling, and the first thing Khan goes like, he's smiling. That can't be good.
Yeah.
Magic 6 guns blazing, in true Western style, where the 6 guns have like 12 shots in them each, taking down full garrisons of Yankee soldiers, charging up the hill, and sparing the life of a young kid that's just there doing his job. Because he's got to show that even though he just murdered 20 people, he's got a heart of gold.
This is my perspective going into this. As watching this in 2022, I watched it in November, because we planned on doing this a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I came into it and I was like, this movie came out 2001, which is kind of like Western is a genre that's dying, like literally not existent much anymore. Superheroes are kind of taken over as the new Western for our age group as far as popularity. So I'm going into this, and Colin Farrell is doing all these crazy, like, outrageous, over-the-top shooting at the beginning, and I was like, okay, this is way different than I expected. Because I came in there, like, expecting this to be, like, a gritty drama.
Oh, no.
And it's a movie where you just have to really let it wash over you and not think too much about it.
There is some drama elements to it. I mean, the whole, like, Pinkerton detectives and, like, or railroad company trying to take over small farms and stuff and doing bad things to people to take over their land. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's some real dark stuff in here. And in particular, there's a death in there. I was like, whoa, I was really surprised that that happened this early. I don't know if we want to go into too big of spoilers, because I feel like people need to see this movie. I will say
100% cult classic status. Because it started coming out like the same time as like, the Iron Mans and the Incredible Hulks and stuff like that. Like, because it's in that same era, it kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But it was kind of an attempt to get a Western theme,
fresh take on the Western, I think.
Yeah, to a younger audience. Yeah. And it does its job wonderfully.
Unfortunately, it wasn't well received.
Yeah.
And one of the reviews I read was like, if the Western genre wasn't dead, this movie killed it.
Oh.
Like, it was which I think is a little too harsh. I think that's a little too harsh.
Yeah.
Watching it now,
because that's looking at it strictly as a Western. Like, this is a
action
comedy.
Yeah. Buddy film. I would say too.
Definitely.
The gang is all their family. I think maybe they threw in Jesse James, into the story. Of course, the story is true, right?
Yes.
The robberies and all that, but I think maybe they kind of used Jesse James as sort of like this
vehicle.
The vehicle to really pitch the movie, to sell it to audiences, older audiences, bringing them in like, oh, Jesse James, but it's a new take. It's a new vibe. It's more, like we said, comedic.
Yeah, if you want something that's pretty true to form, pretty true to story, go watch like the assassination of Jesse James. Mm-hmm. But this one is for fun. That's all you watch this movie
and
for.
I'm not gonna lie, as much as I was like resisting the movie in the beginning, I was like, I'm having a good time. Mm-hmm. As soon as I let go of that, I was able to really enjoy and get something out of the film. So I know I told you before that I wasn't really into it. Well, I watched it again.
Oh, nice.
Watched it again in preparation, because I watched it and I was like, okay, I don't get it. I mean, I get why Jesse James is an underdog and he's gonna lose the house and the land and all that, and he's fighting and he loses. Certain things happen to him, and you kind of sympathize with that, and you have the whole historic feel of it. But I was like, I just don't get it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm thinking too much about it. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking too much about this movie. I'm expecting like Unforgiven by Clint Eastwood or something, and You let it wash over you.
You're
gonna have a good time.
Exactly.
It's a popcorn flick.
Like by the time again, I'm not trying to give away too many major spoilers or anything, but by the time you get to the end of it and a character is armed with a cannon and fires it at a train, like you're like, thank you.
It's almost like a video game.
Yeah, it would make a great video
yeah.
game. Like at one point, one of the characters like saves another character from being hanged by bringing in this like stampede, and it looks so good, and just like boom, save, get the guy out of there, and
I will say that the way that some of the shots were made and like the practical effects is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a lot of like stunt work, and you can tell a lot of effort was put into the film as far as action. So I really admired that, and there was also some great humor, particularly between like Colin Farrell and the blonde. Forgot her name.
Ali Larter.
Ali Larter.
Yes, those two are very good together.
When he's trying to hide her in the bed.
Yes, I like the chemistry between those two, and the chemistry between Cole and like his brothers. Those are all very good. I think the line goes something like, he's like, I had this thought, if I kill you and I kill you, I'm not gonna have no more problems. And he's referring to one of his brothers, Jesse James, because they keep disagreeing with everything he says.
But yeah, I the lines in here too are very much modern. Like the language is very modern too, and that's kind of trying to appeal more to the younger crowd.
I would say, also, I would put this on the same category as, like, The Quick and the Dead. Like, The Quick and the Dead is not as focused on, like, humor as this one is. But, like, it's, like, the Western motif with, like, really good cast and just...
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, I recommend Quick and the Dead, too.
I love that movie.
God,
that's one that I love.
Yeah. That one has less of a cult following, is just considered a classic.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But the reason I call this one an unlikely...
I can see the comparison, though.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
The reason I call this an unlikely hero is because you're taking... Jesse James himself is an iconic figure. So he's portrayed as both hero and villain, depending on what side of the story you're on. But the reason that this one comes off unlikely is, you're talking about this guy who's just come back from a war, who really just wanted to settle down, be with his
family,
be with his wife and his family, and he didn't want anything to do with violence anymore. He'd seen enough.
Yeah, and they're kind of really strong in faith too. There's a lot of praying and all that. Of course, there's jokes too, which are great. Yes. Kathy Bates, so you just say your prayers. She's always talking to God, and just like stuff that she says.
God's finally talking back.
Yeah, every scene that she's in though is just dynamite.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's a scene stealer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he wanted to put his guns away, and the big bad corporation basically is forcing him to come into action.
Mm-hmm.
And so he does, and if you can deal with that premise. And you're not worried about historical accuracy, then this is a great movie.
The villain wise, I think Timothy Dalton. I don't think
he's the villain.
He's not? You don't think?
The oil baron guy is your actual like villain.
Yeah.
He's the one who wants Jesse James hanged every Tuesday for a month, to quote the movie.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton is like, I'm just getting paid. I understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Okay.
And here's the real problem. He's going to be very good at it. And you're making it my problem. Because it's what I'm paid to do is handle your problems.
Okay. I saw it more as Timothy Dalton was the baddie.
And
I was wondering why he was kind of hesitating at times.
Because he understands it. And it's like, he's just doing his job, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, there's that scene where they're in the map room and he's like... they're going to do this and this. He's kind of just waiting in the shadows, I guess. He's
kind of profiling Jesse James at that point. But it's the scene towards the end of the movie where they're in the jail cell together. Jesse James and Timothy Dalton. Where he's talking to him and he's just one-on-one with Jesse James. He's like, and Jesse says, I should have just killed that guy. and just been done with it. Instead of doing this whole thing. Because I was having fun, too, I have to admit. And Pinkerton's like, that's what I would have done if I were you. But he's like, but you're going to miss me. He's like, I'm going to hang you, but yeah, I might just miss you just a little bit. And so that's why obviously
they sort of have a understanding of each other at that point. Yeah, okay. Well, any other thoughts on American Outlaws?
Please go watch it. Please go get yourself a copy. Because I couldn't find my copy, or I stepped on it, or something happened to this copy. It's gone to freaking Narnia. Like, we went and found a copy of this at our local little video store. Took a little 10-minute adventure. 100% go find this movie. It's a great fun film. There's not like a whole lot of cussing, and not a whole lot of
it's true
sex or anything
just
like that.
Just violence and action.
Yeah, I mean I'm not going to call it like
there's some sex jokes though. I mean,
yeah, there's some
innuendos.
But I don't think there's any actual nudity. There's implied, but that kind of thing. But it's just like I said, I'm not going to call it like a family movie by any standards. I would say it's kid friendly. Like, but I'd say older kids. Maybe
I'm no parent though.
I'd say minimum it may say PG-13. 10-year-olds will be fine, but don't what 5-year-olds probably not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This might be a good way to introduce Western to a kid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get them into the classics, like your John Waynes, your Clint Eastwoods, and all that stuff,
good starting point.
Be like, hey, I know this guy's got lasers, but check out what this guy can do with a 6-gun.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about it, but this would definitely make a good one for like a gateway for a kid.
It's a gateway movie.
Gateway drug into the Western genre, guys. This guy's actually surprised though. It has a lot of special features. There's commentary. There's deleted scenes, behind the scenes featurettes, storyboards. I mean, they loaded this thing up.
And an actually absolutely banging soundtrack too. A lot of the songs that get used in this are...
Oh, yeah, there is pop songs, or sort of, like, contemporary music. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no. They use it very effectively. Like, when they're riding hard and they're, like, tossing out, like the early 2000s pop stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a very effective little blend.
That's right. There's needle drops, yeah.
And they have live music, too, like... time period music.
Yeah, there's a dance scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little hoedown, or whatever they call them.
A hootenanny hoedown. Shindig.
So guys, check out American Outlaws. Let me know in the comments. Let us know below in the comments if you've seen it. For more Return of the Disc, visit returnofthedisc.com. Check out the audio version of today's show, available on all major podcast platforms. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.